Hello. In today's video, we will be talking about our next organ system, the digestive system. We'll discuss what the digestive system is, the organs that it's made up of, and the functions that it performs for the human body. As a review, we remember that the human body is organized in levels of hierarchy based on size and complexity, all the way from the smallest individual unit of the cell all the way up to the entire organism. We know that cells form tissues and tissues form organs. We then know that organs come together and work together in organ systems to perform functions. We know that each organ system is made up of a specific set of organs that perform a specific set of functions or jobs for the body. So first, we will talk about the functions that the digestive system performs for the human body. As we remember, we know that all living things require energy in order to function and carry out their cellular processes. They get this energy from their food. I hope that you remember that from the sugar in food, living things are able to carry out the process of cellular respiration to create that much needed energy that allows them to stay alive and function. In the human body, it is the job of the digestive system to take the large molecules in the food that we consume and break them down into those smaller molecules of sugar that the body can use to create energy. In addition to breaking down the food into the molecules needed to create energy, the digestive system also breaks down and processes the material in your food for other needed materials for growth and other processes, like vitamins and minerals such as calcium. Now that we know the functions of the digestive system, let's look at the multiple organs that come together to create the digestive system. So the digestive system has several organs that are a part of the system. Let's take a look at what those are. The first major organ in the digestive system is the mouth. The mouth includes your tongue, the mouth itself, and very importantly, your teeth. The next organ that we have is this long tube that goes from the mouth downward. This is called the esophagus. Next, we've all heard of it, is this pouch here at the bottom of the esophagus called the stomach. Next, we have the organ that is called the small intestine, which is this small wiggly tube that you see here. And finally, we have our large intestine. Now, let's talk about the individual functions that each of these organs perform within the digestive system. So your mouth, that you've all experienced this before, is responsible for chewing and grinding the food into smaller pieces. The saliva in your mouth also begins breaking down the food chemically. Next, the esophagus, which again is the muscular tube passing from the mouth to the stomach, allows that food that has begun being digested and broken down in the mouth down to the stomach. The stomach is this J-shaped bag or pouch which uses muscles to blend food into a liquid and stomach acids to begin chemically breaking down your food. The next organ we have is the small intestine, which is this long curly tube that contains important chemicals that are able to further break down the food into smaller molecules and then absorb into the bloodstream. So your small intestine is responsible for further completing the breaking down of the food and passing all of those important materials into the bloodstream to be carried throughout the rest of your body. The last organ that we'll look at in our digestive system is the large intestine. This is the larger tube sort of surrounding the small intestine, which removes any needed water from the undigested food and then gets that food ready to prepare to leave the body. Now that we know the functions that the digestive system performs and the organs that help it to do so, we will talk about the two different types of digestion that take place within the digestive system. The first form of digestion is called mechanical digestion. This is the type of digestion that involves physically breaking the food apart into smaller pieces. So, physically taking the pieces of food and breaking them into smaller pieces. The second type of digestion that takes place is called chemical digestion. This is the type of digestion that breaks the food down using chemical means as opposed to physical means, and it actually processes or changes the food into something new. Mechanical digestion is performed in two different places within the digestive system. Mechanical digestion first takes place within the mouth when the teeth start ripping and chewing and breaking apart the food within the mouth. The next point that mechanical digestion takes place is in the stomach. As I mentioned, the stomach is a muscle that actually churns and squeezes and actually physically blends that food, breaking it down into smaller pieces. Chemical digestion, on the other hand, also takes place in two stages in the digestive system. The first place where we see chemical digestion taking place is in the mouth by the saliva. So, as soon as food touches your tongue and the saliva begins to interact with the food, your saliva immediately begins chemically breaking down that food into smaller substances. The next place where chemical digestion takes place is in the stomach. So you may have heard of stomach acid before. That is because your stomach is filled with a certain type of acid, which is responsible for chemically breaking down that food.